Hello, everyone. My name is Laura Boscarino, and I am the math teacher on Team 6B here at Walden. I'm super excited to start the new school year and meet all the students and families. So thank you for joining us for the curriculum night videos. So a little bit about me before we jump into the curriculum here. I'm 41. I live in Shelby Township. I do have a master's in teaching mathematics from Marygrove College. I have done 30 postmaster credits, which I really enjoyed. I found those classes really inspirational and informative, and I actually just finished that up about 2 weeks ago. My bachelor's originally came from Western Michigan. This is my 16th year in Lake Orion and 17th overall. I had the opportunity to sub at all the different levels. I did 5th grade at Pine Tree, and I really had a blast teaching theater at Oakview before I came to settle in here at Walden. I love math and I love teaching kids. It doesn't really matter what we're doing. I just think being around kids is fun, and I'm really glad to be here. I do have a 6-year-old son of my own, Stefano, that you can see in the pictures there, and he is starting 1st grade in Utica schools. And a hobby of mine that you'll find me doing if I'm not at school much of the time is just refinishing furniture, painting them and refinishing. I've done lots of projects, so that's something fun I like to do. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into our curriculum for 6th grade math. So we usually start the year off with a unit here called Prime Time. It's numbers and properties, things like that. And then we move into one of the biggest units of the year, it's just longer, called Comparing Bits and Pieces. It's pretty foundational for 6th grade, that ratio thinking and reasoning, finding relationships between fractions, decimals, and percents. Then we move into Let's Be Rational. Those are our operations basically with fractions and mixed numbers: add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Next, we'll go to Covering and Surrounding, which is our geometry unit. Area, perimeter, and the coordinate plane. The 4-quadrant coordinate plane is usually a new concept for 6th grade, so we spend some time on that. Then we'll go into decimal operations, so add, subtract, multiply, divide with decimals. And then next you'll see here variables and patterns. That's our pre-algebra/algebra unit. That is also a very foundational unit to 6th grade, like Bits and Pieces is. Students will find relationships between equations, graphs, and tables. They will write and solve equations. They'll do a little simplifying. And we do like them to solve one-step equations, isolating and balancing that equation. And we do some data analysis in that unit as well, which leads us into the last unit you'll see here called Data About Us, Data and Statistics. If you are advanced math 6th grader, you will continue with 3 additional units from 7th grade called Accentuate the Negative, which is where we use positive and negative rational numbers, some more simplifying expressions, things like that, equation solving. And then a combined geometry unit at the end of the year, stretching and shrinking and shapes and designs. If you want more information about the different courses, general math and advanced math, or have any questions about the skills or concepts in the units, please feel free to reach out and let me know. I'd be happy to talk about those with you, and I'll put my contact information on the last slide of the presentation. So next I wanted to show you how students will practice the math that we're learning and then be assessed on the math that we're learning. So I can have both categories for you here on the slide. Generally, practice is not graded and assessments are graded. So the practice, I do expect them to do it. It's critical. It's kind of the practice for the game. So practice is a safe place to make mistakes. There's no penalty there. We learn, we correct it in class. We learn again, we correct it in class. And I do expect students to do the practice and then go back with their checking pens and correct it. We will always go over assignments in class. Students will always be able to ask questions and take their checking pens and fix their papers. So I just wanted you to know that. For practice, we use a variety of things, activities, and lessons. First, we have Delta Math, which is new this year. It's an online platform that I'm learning as I go here, but it's intended for both graded and non-graded practice, and it probably will be utilized in class and as homework. The next thing here is in class and at home practice found in the practice section of the math binder. So we're going to be setting up the math binders here at school. I will tell the kids how I want the tabs and what to label them. There will be a tab called practice. So if you're curious, I do recommend you kind of look at the math binder every once in a while, look at the practice section. Are they completing things in there? Do you see checking pen? Did they go back and rework it if it was wrong? Did they mark it wrong and not correct it? Did they do a full correction? Things like that. And then the bottom bullet point here, another section of the math binder is called the study guides. Study guides will always be given before an assessment. We will always go over them and answer questions about them. And the assessments will have the same skills that the study guide has. So if your student is not understanding something or has a question, I would really encourage them to reach out to me so that we can go over that before they are assessed. We really want to try to have a strong study guide before they're assessed. And then that brings us to the assessments. These are generally what they're graded on in classes, their assessments. There's quizzes and common assessments. Quizzes are over shorter chunks of information in the unit. And then the common assessments are the summative assessments at the end of the unit over the whole unit. Generally, quizzes can be retaken and common assessments cannot. However, if anyone is interested in a retake opportunity on anything, I'm willing to work with that person. So I would encourage your student to contact me for reassessment. I usually just ask that it's done within a week of getting the original assessment back, because in math we have a lot to cover and we move on quickly, and it just helps information stay fresh in your brain if you can get it in within that week's time period. And I do also request that they do some evidence of new learning, that they did study again or fix the study guide or fix the quiz or corrected that, and that helped them study for the reassessment. And so I'm really willing to work with any student that shows the initiative that really wants to increase their understanding, or they want to earn a particular grade for themselves. So please be in contact for that. In Lake Orion, we do use the standards-based grading system, which is basically 4310, and you can kind of see what each number represents here on the screen. 4 does mean proficient, and your student can earn a 4 right in September. I think in elementary sometimes they grow to a 4, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe that has changed, but they can be proficient if they perform well on something. They're a 4 on that quiz, and they can earn that right away. Progressing is the 3. We love 4s and 3s. We kind of hope students live in that range most of the time. 2 is like basic or emerging. 1 is an area of concern. With a 1, I would hope that this student would be interested in restudying and reassessing. And then a 0 basically means no evidence most of the time. That's why you see a 0 there. I just didn't receive back from the student. So they can always be turned in. I accept things late, so I really would love to always replace a 0 with a score. And I do use the halves quite often. So frequently you'll see like a 3.5, a 2.5, a 1.5, just to kind of show they're in between the categories there. And like I said, between 2.5 and 4 is kind of where we want them to live most of the time. When you get below a 2.5, I would really love if they wanted to increase their understanding and reassess. So how can parents stay informed? I think checking PowerSchool is probably a quick, easy way for someone that's a parent to know what they're doing. Are they turning things in? Is there a missing flag, or is there a 0? I do put comments. Did their child reassess? You should be able to see a score, and it'll say retake given or taken, something like that. And so you can keep up with their grades that way. Our team also puts out the Team 6B weekly newsletter, and I do also always put in the newsletter when those assessments are, so you can help your child be aware or check that study guide if you can. That would be really helpful. If you can also ask to see that child's math binder once in a while, even if you just briefly look at it, I really think it communicates to the student, hey, I'm interested in what you're doing. Do you notice checking pen in the practice section, in the study guide section? And then there's a assessment section for assessments, so you can see the questions that they're answering, how they're doing. And that pretty much will be in the binder this year for you to look at if you're able to do that. Then the next one, if the students can have a study buddy that they kind of chat with outside of school, I always think that helps them a lot if possible. And then if you have any questions or anything and you can't find it in the binder, your student doesn't know, just reach out to me directly. I'll be happy to answer any questions or concerns that you may have. And then here's my contact information. There's my email, our phone number here at Walden, and then the Teams chat. Microsoft Teams is on all the student devices. It's kind of like an instant message. We can just chat back and forth. I would encourage you to have your student contact me themselves if you feel they're responsible and can do that and can kind of initiate a conversation or initiate some help if you think they need it, or go ahead and reach out to me yourself. Either way is fine. In sixth grade, I know sometimes they're a little reluctant, so I'm always open to any communication. I will get back to you usually within 24 hours, if not sooner. I don't always get a chance to check email and chat on Saturday and Sunday, but during the week, I will be getting back to you within 24 hours, or the student if that's the case. So I hope you have a great 2021-2022 school year. Thanks for watching the Curriculum Night video. Have a great day. Bye.